Let's talk about spending in-game, and in particular, 6 months now I've been non-spending. I used to spend in Marvel Contest of Champions buying myself the delightful daily unit card and as well the Summoner Sigil. Now, on the point of recording this video, just to bear in mind, recently there was Arena where you could grind out and get 1 month or 2 months of the Summoner Sigil for free. I grinded out and got 1 month and didn't have the time to grind out a second month. But you could get it for free. So just to kind of point out, I didn't spend this, I didn't buy this, it's just there. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of like make a video about how it's been transitioning. Not that it's kind of like a big transition. It's just a case of like, well, what have I done? Has it impacted anything? Has it felt very different? Have I kind of felt like I haven't chased the game very much in the top kind of brackets? Do I really care about that kind of stuff? Another thing. So let's kick off by talking about value for money. Let's face it, nowadays when you buy a game, when you go out to buy something like a PlayStation game, something that's been spent a lot of time to develop, it could be a case that you're spending initially £60 or $50, $60, $80. I'm not 100% sure, but in different countries. But in my country, it's a case of like buying a game straight up could be £60. Now, if there's any DLC or an extra thing to it, it could be £100. Or it could be a case that it's an entry level of £60 and you'll end up through the state of the game buying yourself loads of skins and extras and add a different £40. But let's face it, at the end of the day, £100 kind of gets you a solid start. Mobile games will cost you a lot more. However, it'll only be chasing a lot more if you're chasing something. If you're chasing something in particular, which Kabam do thrust at you, there is something which, could be a progression. And at the moment, the progression is to be Paragon. I made the conscious decision back in the start of this year, kind of end point to December, that I just didn't want to spend in Marvel Contest. I just didn't think that Kabam knew what they were doing, knew where they were going with the game. Especially with the input system being something that has kind of marred a lot of the performance, and especially the way that server communication from where it's based, which seems to be there's no European servers, there's definitely no Chinese servers anymore, and there's definitely no kind of like extra communication. It kind of gives a level of stability from a server side of things. The second point to this is that I just kind of feel that Kabam's development time is just quite slow, and maybe that's because like investing into a lot of this kind of stuff is not being done. A lot of money may be starved from different areas. Funnily enough, from speaking to a lot of former Kabam employees, it is a case that innovation is something that is not allowed, or not, I would say it is allowed, but it's a case that innovation to go and do different things with different game modes and as well improve different elements of the game isn't really being done, which has led to a lot of these former Kabam employees that I end up speaking to just kind of like say about stories that it's just not great. And I guess this is why we've seen things like quality of life improvements and the work that Kabam Zero's put in to kind of like improve those elements. But then there's other things that you kind of look at and you go, why is it taking so long to do Battlegrounds beta, or Battlegrounds to be a full working game mode? Why isn't Incursions being revamped a little bit more than it is? Why isn't there any other kind of like other game mode being put in that's more of a regular thing? Why has Kabam not done things like Mastery loadouts? They've not done things like Mastery 2.0, the Wish Crystal, Relics. I've done a full video devoted to those kind of things, but it definitely feels like, look, if people are providing money to a game, you want to feel like the developer is developing a lot of things to keep the player base excited, interested, and stuff like that. I mean, you wouldn't put your money into a company, a startup company, and kind of, or any kind of like business, and go, you know what, I'm going to invest in you. Well, I want to see results. What are you doing? Not a lot. That would really piss you off. Now, yes, people might point out, Rich, didn't you have a bit of a vendetta about the extent of how those drop rates situation for the Cavalier Crystals? Yes, but I reached a point where I just thought, I'm done with getting annoyed with this, and I haven't mentioned it since March or April time. Or yeah, I think like those kind of times, like maybe early April, or maybe it was the last time it was mentioned, and this is the time I'm mentioning it now, which is, April, May, June. Yeah, so 3 months on. This is the first time I've mentioned it in a while. But yeah, I mean, look, what can you do? It's Kabam at the end of the day, and them handling those kind of things. again, it's just Kabam handling things. 9 times out of 10, they don't handle it very well. Now, let's go on to the point of the video, which is the interesting and fun side of things, is how have I gone from being a spending player and buying those little things that I do? Because I will buy stuff at Christmas. Probably won't be buying anything at this Christmas. July 4th deals, used to. Cyber Weekend deals, used to. But it does reach a point of, look, you know, I have found more enjoyment from grinding out in game. Doing more arena streams has been interesting enough to grab and kind of test out the extent of how much I can grind, but also try and have it not impact on my life. And that's something as well I've had to kind of like be very cautious on. I thought, oh, if I'm buying like loads of units or buying deals and stuff, then I'm not grinding out in game. But I guess that's the thing that's made the game more interesting to me. And probably when I was spending, I didn't really have that much interest because I was just getting to the next bit of where I wanted to go. But this time, with being non-spending, I kind of feel like I'm working for something. And the same thing with looking at getting new champions. So I'm more kind of structured on like what I want and how I want to grab the champions that I want. And this goes by like not doing arena, getting featured 6-star crystals, also with the content that I'm doing. And you know, I did Karina's, when I was a spending person in the game, we had Karina's challenges on and I didn't do them, right? As soon as I've gone non-spending, I've had more interest to do things like Karina's challenges. Not in this moment because some of them haven't even returned back and they should have done by now. But, you know, the point still remains. I've done more Karina's challenges, doing 5 of Volume 2, and did I do any Volume 1? I did 1 of Volume 1. And if you asked me last year when I was spending, like prior to December, did I do any of these? No. So I've made more progress and had more interest in those particular bits of content. It's the mastery switching that's a problem with the unit spend, but grabbing the units that I have with Arena and the time that I've had has been very fun. We've been doing more streams of Arena grinding in 2022 versus what I did in 2021, so that's been nice to do. But also grabbing resource, and I've been more conscious about the grind into things like the solo events, like event quest completion. Not a good example because I've not done that, and the reason being that I'm kind of using my energy to grind in other areas to grab revives and health potions and other stuff. And but then when it's level up, arena wins and hero use, I've been grabbing the revive and the health potions, and that's been great. That's been a great addition because then I would go to you know, grab more if I wanted to, or I'd be going into lower content. I have this kind of process when I'm not excessively grinding out for units. I will burn my energy in book 1, act 3 or act 2 to grab revives and health potions, mainly revives because that's the most important thing. But if I'm not, I'm using my energy in other places, and that particular energy is to be burnt into the event quest, where I can go into normal difficulty, which you can see like this is, I've done a good chunk of this already, where I've gone and done that, and you get units for your trouble. Do the same thing in heroic, where I go into the lower levels, same with master, same with uncollected, and I go and blast through there, getting 150 units a piece for the 4 of them. What is that? That's 600 units for free if you're able to do that. And that kind of again adds into the total, which at the point of recording this video, I got 5,533 units. Okay, so that's really important to mention because that's what I'm doing in the process of grabbing units, and also it's helpful for the grind and picking up stuff. So it means that it kind of can reduce down the extent of time that I'm in arena. And I do like doing arena because I like, you know, watch a movie or something. You know, me and Em will sit downstairs, watch something, you know, Obi-Wan or Miss Marvel, and I'll go and play that. We'll watch a movie on a Saturday or a Sunday if I'm not out. Although when I'm busy at weekends with certain stuff, like I'm recording this video on the weekend because I'm about to go on a mini vacation, and maybe when I'm on vacation I can grind this, but I kind of say to myself, if I've got time to grind, I've got time to grind. But then if we kind of go, we're out watching something, or we're going to some sort of performance, so I'll try not to play unless, you know, Em wants to sleep or I decide I'm not going to go to the gym. But I've been kind of focusing more on me and what I want to do, and also spending time with people. So the grind has been more of a pick up my device and go, is it really worth me grinding at the time? And maybe, and 9 times out of 10, just like putting it to the side and going, do you know what, let's just kind of like enjoy like life a bit more rather than just let this game take over. But I've still been managing to do at least one hour a day on arena grinding on average, and then whatever time that's kind of made up with doing AQ or any other content I need to be doing. As well, but do bear in mind I've got like other work for a games developer for about like a good chunk of a month. So it's balancing time as wisely as possible. But it's all, it's all good. It's been a real kind of interesting switch. But I am actually really glad that I went from a spending player to a non-spending player. Also, I want to go over things that I miss about spending in game. There's two things that I miss. The first thing is the Summoner's Sigil. Now they've got the Summoner's Sigil back, I do miss the extent of the refresh of energy that it gives. That's one thing. The extra gold that you can get is slightly helpful, but also the Black ISO market, again, is slightly helpful. All these kind of little things for £8.99 a month. Look, if I wanted to support a developer, I would probably only do that if I wanted to. And as well, the unit card, which I do rate and I do enjoy, it would have been like an advantage to go and pick that up to do to get to July 4th. But I wanted to stick by my principles. And if I say I'm going to stay non-spending, I want to stay non-spending with it. And, so far, 6 months on, I've not spent anything in Marvel Contest. And I feel happier now that I've kind of done the switch. Especially because I know my process. I've played the game long enough that I know where to go in order to grab the resources I need to. Where to grab revives if I make mistakes. Those kind of things. But I will miss kind of getting special deals like those Cavalier Nexuses. I do miss them unless they're going to be in the July 4th deals. I do miss some deals from time to time, but then Kabam do put out some deals from time to time. So maybe there's kind of times to pick up that, and maybe Kabam might roll out that Summoner Sigil Arena on a yearly basis, and maybe I'll find next year that I'll be able to grind it out. I don't really know what the future holds with it. But there are some things I do miss from spending. I think I miss the Summoner Sigil a little bit more, but it's been great to kind of get that for free as I've grinded it out and grabbed my my Scarlet Witch Sigil. I've grabbed some of these kind of bits whilst I can, and this will be my final time to grab these when this free sigil that I grinded out in the arena expires. But at least I've got my 6-star Awakened Scarlet Witch sigil, which is nice. I had back in December, January time, late December, when I did the sigil for the last time. It was a case that I was close, and getting this sigil meant that I had enough to kind of get it awakened, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, that's really been it. That's been the process. That's been the stuff that I've kind of thought about. I think the final thing to mention is do I feel like I'm behind on behind with the grind? Yes, but then do I care about that? No. So one thing that I've kind of learned about myself, my interest in the game, is I like to keep it casual and that's the best way to kind of not. The more you kind of grind out and burn into the game, the more you burn out. And that's been one of the things to kind of look at. So I do map 8 of AQ, but what if I did Alliance Wars? Would I want to be spending excessively to get the best champions, rank 4, 6 stars, be Paragon, and do that? Of course I would. That's when the pay to win side of things does become an issue. I understand that that's how mobile transaction games work. But I would say with that is why? My question back to anybody that would want to be right at the top is why? I understand people want to be the best of the best when it comes to gaming, but again, why? Why can't you enjoy the game in a casual sense? Why can't there be a happy medium? Yes, there will be incidents where you kind of think okay, refreshing champions and things like Battlegrounds is an issue, but that's an exception to that. You could be the best of the game by kind of getting all the content done with it being incredibly skilled, which, you look at the likes of Metal Sonic Dude, which I think Metal Sonic Dude is a free-to-play player. You look what Brian Grant has achieved. It is possible, it's just a case of time. So that's really up to you, isn't it? Where you kind of feel yourself happy with the game. And as I've said about, find your fun with Marvel Contest. And the one thing that I found my fun with it, and I found my re-enjoyment for the game, is going from spending to non-spending as a result of, the lack of innovation and lack of work Kabam has done in certain areas of the game. And I really hope for the future that Kabam can get all those things they promised back in 2020 delivered out to everybody that plays the game, because they're behind. They're really slow. And I know they'll say, no, that's not the case. But yeah, they're really slow with getting stuff done. Incredibly. Battlegrounds, since it was kind of put in for its first beta, I doubt that game mode's going to be finished by the end of 2022. And the list goes on. As I said, Wish Crystal, Relics, where are they? Come on, you make all this money, develop stuff. Get it done. Stop having excuses. But in any case, that has been the video. That's been my thoughts on this 6 months now that I've been non-spending. I might do like a 1 year thing, but I kind of feel like maybe this is the video that kind of like to say this is what it's been like, and this will be how it continue on. I think I will actually, because as soon as we've got July 4th deals out of the way and Cyber Weekend and any new kind of like big content Kabam has coming up, and also gifting event, I'm going to do maybe do one more video in December to go, okay, 12 months, how has it been going to some of these bigger events and kind of like see the impact. But yeah, that's been dissection, and thanks for watching this video. How have you been transitioning from one type of like thing in game, from non-spending to spending, spending to non-spending? Put it in the comment section. It'd be interesting to kind of find out. And I'll see you all very soon. Make sure as well to check out some other content located on the screen right now. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye for now.